Hi, Facebook friends. I appreciate you joining me once again. And this week is Holy Week. We just got past and through the celebration of Palm Sunday and what that means for us as we think about that account of people waving palm branches and laying their cloaks at the feet of Jesus. And we know he's coming in Jerusalem, and we know the rest of that story. I'd like us to look at the story, the Holy Week story account this week. As we look at that, by examining it through the hands of those that were there. And what I mean by the hands, it's what those hands were about, and then we'll look at the hands of Jesus, and then we'll look at our hands. There were some very hateful hands in the Holy Week that we call Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday. There were some violent hands. There were some hands of anger and hostility that came into the life of Jesus. When we think about that, we think of him being with his disciples. We think of his gentle hands washing their feet, as it tells us at that upper room account. But we see him in the garden and praying hands. But then we see these hands come with clubs and torches, and those hands that grabbed him and pulled him away, and those hands that took him to a place where there wasn't going to be any justice. And then there's the hands of those who flogged him. There were the hands of those who took 30 pieces of silver to betray him. There were hands that took a mock crown and pressed it on the head of Jesus. Boy, those hands, whew, hostile hands. There was one who washed his hands of Jesus. And then we see Jesus being led out to the place called Golgotha. And the cruelest and maybe the most vile and evil hands of human history drove nails into the hands of this precious Savior that we call Jesus. And he took the nails for us. These same hands that were now pierced, his hands, Jesus' hands, had touched the eyes of the blind and gave them sight. These hands took the hand of one and raised him from being unable to walk, crippled, to standing. It was these hands that took the food and multiplied it, and thousands were fed. It was the hands of Jesus. These were the hands that were passed. It was the hand of Jesus that took the hand of a woman caught in adultery, but not condemned now, and he raises her up and forgiveness comes. It was the hand of Jesus that touched these lives, the compassionate hands, the powerful hands of Jesus as well. Think about this. Jesus stands up in a boat and raises his hands and says, "Peace be still," and angry waves are calmed. Those hands were pierced on Good Friday for you and for me. And so I want us to look this week, maybe more than ever before, at those hands and what that means and what it means for us. I want to tell you sort of a comical story about my hands and then talk a little bit about what that might mean for us too. My hands are, I know they're not real good looking. I know they're all bumpy and the joints are bigger. Well, you can see, I don't need to describe them. They're not real pretty. And when I used to use an overhead projector when I was teaching school, the kids would say, and it must be true because it happened a number of years, "Mr. D, you have alien fingers." And they would talk about the ugliness of my hands. And when they'd say I had alien fingers, then I'd just take 3 of my fingers and put them over the overhead projector, and then they'd look like E.T. And so anyway, I share that with you because I understand what my hands are like. But you know what? I'm not so concerned about the appearance of my hands. I'm more concerned about what I do with my hands. As those angry hands, those hostile hands, those evil hands of long ago. Boy, I don't want to do things with my hands that drive the nails back into the hands of my Savior who took the nails for me. And I think of the little kid's song, you know, "Be careful of eyes what you see, or be careful of ears what you hear. For the Father up above is looking down in love." But I also think Oh, be careful, little hands, what you type. Don't allow your hands to take you to websites that Jesus doesn't want us on. Oh, be careful, little hands, what you type or what you write. That you would not type words of hostility and hate, words that are untrue or unkind. Oh, be careful. Oh, be careful, little hands, that you don't become a fist to do damage and to harm. Oh, be careful, little hands, what you put in your mouth, what you put in your body, that can be a great harm. Oh, be careful, little hands. And so today, I don't really mind at my age. I don't mind that my hands aren't so good looking, but I would mind a great, great deal if someone said your hands have done destruction, your hands have hurt. I believe Jesus calls us to use these hands to welcome people, even when they aren't maybe as we would want them to be. I believe Jesus wants us to use our hands to not only welcome people, but to help them up. Jesus wants us to use these hands to embrace and to let people know that they're loved and they're cared for. I think he wants us to use our hands to bless people with provision that they might need. Those hands of ours, what are we going to do with them this Holy Week? I pray one of the things we'll do is we'll raise holy hands and thank Jesus for his great, great grace to us, that he took the nails that were meant for us and the punishment of our sin. A long, long time ago now, it seems, I took the hand of Jesus and I found salvation. I found forgiveness. A bunch of years ago, I took the hand of Jesus and he led me to a place where I could be a pastor, where I could make a difference maybe in the lives of some folks. And so when we take Jesus' hands, we have our salvation, we have opportunity, purpose, and meaning. But I also found some days I need to take that hand of Jesus to get me off the ground. When I'm beat up or where I've struggled or where there's been hardship, and the hand of Jesus takes us through. He carries us through. He's also, I believe, still the hands that stands and said, peace be still, as he stands up when our boats are rocking and a peace comes into our lives. So I just want to encourage you this week, look at your hands. I want to encourage you to remember the hands of Jesus. And if you haven't for a long, long time seemed to take the hand of Jesus, I want to encourage you today to take the hand of this one that died and once again, third time, took the nails for us. God bless you this Holy Week. In this solemn week, might you know his nearness. Bless you all.